Hey everybody, we're Workforce Gaming. I'm Doug, along with Brad.
Hello.
And this week we are going to be reviewing Wolfenstein 2. Just to be completely clear and open, Brad has completely finished this game. I have gotten about 99% of the way through this game,
You have literally 1 hour left.
and I don't think I'll be finishing it. So, Brad, I think to start on a more positive note, I think Brad, you should probably start off with this. I think we both kind of. I guess I would kind of want to talk about just a little bit of how I went into Wolfenstein 2, and I don't know if I had like the wrong expectations with this game or not. I heard the story was really, really good, so I was excited for the story. And then because Titanfall 2 had come out, Doom had come out, and then the original Wolfenstein was pretty good, I was like, the shooting in this is going to be great. It's going to be awesome. It's going to be fun. They saw Doom, they saw Titanfall 2, like they know they got to compete with these games, so they're going to like knock it out of the park with that. And when I played it, the story was really good because that's what everybody's talked about, and the gameplay to me was just not there at all.
It's a very weird dynamic because the
Yeah,
story and some of the scenes in this are just incredible.
yeah,
And I love that this story goes crazy in all the correct moments. I feel like every time in this game you start going like, okay, I'm just running through here killing Nazis. He's like, oh, what? Okay, that's different.
yeah,
Why are we doing this? Okay, good call. But it never feels out of place though, which I
yeah,
like. But there's definitely that like every 2 hours there's this weird like, okay, we're building up to something. What the hell just happened? Okay, it's kind of boring for an hour. What the hell just happened? And you get this weird like roller coaster as you kind of go through it.
yeah,
But yeah, I think that is one of those things that was a little bit of a letdown. Is it's not bad, but the whole time you're playing it, it feels off.
yeah,
And I know I was just playing on the normal difficulty, and it never gives you that feeling like. And I think you brought up Doom and Titanfall, which think are two great examples of games that definitely are not overly difficult on
yeah,
like the normal difficulty, but do a great sense of making you feel like you are this unstoppable character,
yeah,
which you are in both those games. Now, BJ Blazkowicz is a bit of a different character. I don't think he's meant to quite be that unstoppable force,
yeah,
despite the way that the story kind of portrays him that way.
yeah,
Because if you get to a room of 4 or 5 Nazis, you kind of have to stop and think. Versus a Doom or a Titanfall, it's like, oh, there's only 4 or 5 guys in here. Screw it, I'm just gonna shoot them. You know what I mean?
yeah,
So,
yeah,
there's definitely this weird feeling about it, and I don't know. The whole time I was playing it, I was very much of the mindset of like, I really like this, or do I?
yeah. I could never quite figure out if I was playing it correctly because the game has a very, very extensive dual weapon wielding thing, which
Yeah,
makes your character super, super powerful. The entire game, though, you have super low health and can die really quickly. So I could never figure out if the game wanted me to like rush in to do stealth or to do some like where in between because it just seemed like if you weren't doing stealth, you were just going to get destroyed. And like I mean, I played Doom like I am like at the end of Doom on replaying it like on the hardest difficulty, and I find it easier than playing this game. And like I don't know like I just feel like maybe I was like playing it wrong. Like, are you supposed to use cover? It's like, well, there's not really a cover system. It's like, okay, I have these like dual shotguns, so does that mean I kind of like go in guns blazing? Okay, that doesn't really work. So like it's felt like the mechanics weren't telling me one way or the other, and I'm not sure if it's like, well, we leave it up to the player. It's like, okay, well, my playstyle isn't working. Doing it slow doesn't quite work because as soon as like characters see you, you're dead because they'll swamp you
yep,
so quickly. So like I never quite understood like the just how to play it like the entire
yeah.
time.
And I kind of had the same feeling, and you almost have to try an area first. Once there's several points where I got that
Yeah,
feeling of like, I have to try this. Is this a dual shotgun run in, kill everybody, or is this a crouch down, sneak past people and find the commander guy who's going to set the alarm off if I don't kill him first? So
yeah,
it is set up very much in that you have an option of which way you want to go, but the game definitely has one in mind that's going to be easier for you,
yeah, yeah,
and you can do it both. You can do it either way,
yeah,
but one's gonna be easier. One's gonna take some work, and it almost gives me the same feeling Dishonored does at a couple times, where it's like,
yeah.
okay, you're giving me both options, but you're kind of suggesting heavily that I take one of these
But
options.
I think with games that do stuff like that, though, like usually it's like this one will be more challenging, or this is like the correct way to do it. But like this one, it's like it's not even fun challenging, like to do it the other way. Like like the stealth to me, like the stealth mechanics weren't that strong to begin with. Like you just kind of crouch and then make sure guys don't. It's like pretty much standard stealth mechanics 101, except you have a cool axe you can throw. Um, and so like it just felt like okay, these stealth mechanics aren't super fun. It's like okay, well, what if I try to mix it up a little bit? And then just became, and it's like oh no, I definitely have to do stealth. Like it's just I'm not going to do this guns blazing or even like you just have to do stealth. Like the other way just isn't fun. And then just doing the stealth itself isn't that fun. So like I just wasn't having fun constantly.
Yeah, I don't know if I'd go that far because
Yeah, yeah,
I do enjoy this game. It's definitely a good game. And again, I think
yeah,
you kind of talked about expectations coming into this with Doom and Titanfall 2, and I think that's where I was as well. Is um, in my mind, this is a game that we don't really do review scores, but in
yeah,
my mind, this is a game that's like it's like a 7 or it's probably well not a 7, that's low. It's probably like an 8, but I'm gonna remember it as like a 9 or a 10. And I think like
yeah,
going back in my head, that's what happened with the first one is because that story is so good.
yeah, yeah.
I don't remember a thing about weapons or gameplay from the first one right now.
Oh, okay, yeah,
Having played through that 2 or 3 years ago,
yeah,
that's not the stuff I remember. I remember the story, and this game has some great moments that I know
yeah,
I'm gonna sit back and go like, oh man, that moment in Wolfenstein 2 when da 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 happened. Oh my gosh, that's
yeah,
amazing. And I'm gonna come back to those moments, and that's what's gonna paint my picture of this game is this great story. And the mechanics are they're fine, but
yeah,
again, like you said, it's just that weird feel. It's just a weird feeling,
yeah.
which I don't feel like I can't really pinpoint another game where I've ever played and just kind of felt like, is am am I having fun right now? Is this
Yeah.
good? Like I think it's good, but and that's the feeling that I just had this whole time of like, I think I like this. And
It's
then
like
they'll get to a story point and I'll forget everything that happened with the gameplay. I'll be like, oh my gosh, I love this game. And then like 20 minutes later, I'll be like, but am I having fun?
this kind of reminds me of like it's kind of like the reverse situation of the end of Metal Gear Solid 5, where like the game where like Metal Gear Solid 5 is like the gameplay is really good and the story is garbage. And so
Yes,
like, is this any
it's very much
good?
the inverse of that.
Yeah, it's like, is this a bad game? And then like Wolfenstein is kind of the opposite, where because the story stuff is so strong. I mean, we didn't really talk about characters and stuff, but all the characters like are very very cool. I think they all. The thing I really liked about the game is like it definitely felt like I don't know. I felt like all the characters like were interesting this time. Like I feel like when I'm thinking back to like Wolfenstein 1, I have like maybe one or two characters in my head, and but in this one it's like oh. I remember that character has that one cool scene. This character has that cool scene. This character has that cool scene. And I thought like yeah, like I just like and then like you're saying those like standout story moments. I think the opening of the game. I think it's okay to talk about. They show you BJ's backstory in which he has a Jewish mother and a super racist asshole dad.
Yep.
Um, and it's kind of shocking in good ways. And it's like, oh, okay, we're actually going to go there with this sort of thing. Like his dad is an actual racist person, not like we're going to go light on this. Like they go hard on it.
Yeah.
I thought that stuff was interesting. Like they go hard on like the Nazis being Nazis. I think one standout scene I kind of do want to talk about because it's stuck out of my mind is like weirdly horrifying in like a way I wasn't really expecting. And this is not really a spoiler if you see any trailers. There's a part where you're walking down 1950s America during a Nazi parade.
Yeah.
And Norman Rockwell is probably like one of my favorite artists. And if you don't know who Norman Rockwell is, he does sort of like a lot of like Americana paintings. Like if you just type in Norman Rockwell, I'm sure you've seen his paintings. He was a 1950s artist who did these very like what America like a sort of idealized America thing. So they used a lot of the inspiration from that stuff and then they've mixed in like Nazis stuff, and it's like it's really really scary because like the casual conversations people are having, like they're having these casual conversations that are horrifying, like about selling slaves and stuff, and it just made me like sick to my stomach in the right ways. I was like, this is cool. This is like powerful.
Yeah. And
Yeah,
and that's the kind of stuff that sticks out to me in this game.
yeah,
And again, it's one of those weird things where, and maybe this is just the place I am with video games right now,
yeah,
but I could totally have played this game just walking through the motions of this without the shooting mechanics.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Would have been amazing just to walk through that town a little bit more, to walk through the end. The end level is not. It's a very cool setup, idea, and setting, but it's just kind of it's bogged down by the gameplay where it's like more like I want to explore this cool thing that you've created in the last level that I don't want to get into because of spoilers, but it's a very interesting setting that's not really ever done before, and here you have it, and it's like, oh, I want to explore this more. And I almost feel like that's that's what almost drags down the gameplay a little bit, is you're almost anticipating what cool thing you're going to see next,
Yeah.
and you almost want to experience this world in a slower pace.
Yeah. Yeah.
A lot of it is going like, okay, I'm in wherever I am and all this stuff's going on, but I have to run through here and kill all these guys and get to the other side.
Yeah.
And that almost to me hinders what this game is trying to do, because like you said, there are some very, very intense moments. There's some very interesting setups for things, and there's some very interesting ideas that are explored in this that I want to explore more. And I feel like sometimes those get breezed past because
Yeah.
this is an action game. We got to have the action. We can't sit here and have a 30-minute scene of walking through town. But like every time it talks about, oh, we're gonna go to this new town, we're gonna go to this new city. I'm like, oh, cool. Like I hope there's another scene where I'm just walking through the street,
Yeah.
seeing what the alternate history version of this town is. And you never get to do that. And I feel like
Yeah.
that's one of those things where it's like, you make it a creative choice with your game here, and you're going, we're gonna go with this setting, we're gonna go with this super intense story, this super serious tone, we're gonna have this action element in there. And it almost kind of shows that, like, you bring it up with Uncharted a lot, but it fits here. But where it's like, okay, there's a disconnect between the stories and the gameplay,
Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah.
where you're going, Nathan Drake's not this mass murderer, but here I am mass murdering people. It's almost a little bit of a similar feeling I get with this, where it's like, this game wants to be telling the story,
Yeah.
but this game knows you need to be killing a shit ton of Nazis for people to play it.
Yeah.
And there's this weird balance of like, how much story can we get, but how much gameplay we can get in there. And I don't know, it's a very interesting game, if nothing else. I enjoyed it. I think
Yeah.
if you like shooters, if you're fine with it, go play it. It's super interesting.
Yeah.
But it's not Doom. It's not
No.
it's not this re the re excuse me, it's not the reimagining of the shooter genre and going back to
Yeah.
classics and pulling in new things, kind of like Doom did. It's a good shooter.
Yeah, yeah. I like that it kind of I like that it kind of apes on my like favorite story-based shooters. There's a lot of similarities I think you could draw from like Half-Life 2 and the way it does like character interactions and stuff.
Yes.
And I really like there's these downtime periods where you're sort of just exploring a ship, and those things are really cool. And like but it feels kind of like a game at a time. Like I think if Doom and Titanfall hadn't just come out recently, maybe we'd be talking about this game differently. Um, I'm glad you're super positive on it, because I think if you're a person who enjoys strong story and wants to see some very, very cool, like good characters and interesting story sequences and very cool I don't know what you call those, like interactive cinematic moments. I don't know, what do you call those things, like scripted, like really good scripted moments like in gameplay and stuff.
Yeah.
It definitely has those. There's one scene like I'm thinking of and trying not to talk about and trying to screw around. So I think in that regard you will definitely enjoy it. But I think you shouldn't go into this like I want the next great shooter. It's like I want the next great video game story.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I think yeah. So I guess I'm not super positive on it, but I think I'm glad you are, because I think if you do put story above a lot of other things, you're gonna have a really, really good time.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah. All right. If you guys like what you heard, we're Workforce Gaming. You could follow us at Workforce Gaming on Twitter, and you can also subscribe to us on YouTube. We'll see you guys next time.
Bye.
Bye.